I was halfway through my first sip of coffee when I saw the black SUVs. 4 of them lined up across the street like chess pieces. Agents in dark jackets poured out, storming the house of our HOA president, the same woman who had called the cops on my kids for riding their bikes. I just leaned back in my porch chair, the one my dad built, and thought, well, Karma finally learned her address. But that sight didn't come out of nowhere. It was the end of a long war that started the moment we told her no. My name's Jack Wilkins, and my family moved to Cedar Ridge Meadows last spring. A peaceful spot with old oak trees, a fishing pond, and a sunset that painted the porch golden every evening. We'd bought our home outside the official HOA boundary, an old zoning quirk from the 70s. To me, that meant freedom. No one telling me what color to paint my fence or how high my grass should be. Then Linda Corbett showed up. HOA president. Clipboard in one hand, brochure in the other, and that tight, fixed smile people wear when they're used to getting their way. She congratulated us on joining the community, and then, without missing a beat, slid a membership form across my porch table. $95 a month for neighborhood integrity? I told her politely we wouldn't be joining. Her smile didn't falter, but her eyes changed, cold and calculating. Everyone contributes, she said softly, or the harmony falls apart. I didn't know then that harmony was her favorite word and her favorite weapon. At first it was little things. Flyers about voluntary compliance tucked under my windshield wipers. Notes in the mailbox. Grass above 4 inches lowers property value. Every time I looked out the window, Linda was there, tape measure in hand, inspecting something that wasn't hers. Sarah, my wife, laughed it off at first. Let her count blades of grass, she said. But it stopped being funny the morning Linda took pictures of our kids playing catch and posted them online with the caption, "Unsupervised minors, safety concern." That's when the laughter died. She started tracking every move we made, even marking trash bin placement on a clipboard. Neighbors whispered, but stayed silent. Nobody wanted to cross her. Then one afternoon, a police cruiser rolled up my driveway. The officer, kind guy named Deputy Miller, said there'd been a complaint our fence was too tall. He measured it. Perfectly legal. Then he sighed and told me off the record that Linda had called them 3 times that week. Document everything, he said quietly. She's on our radar. That night, Sarah looked up from her laptop, eyes narrowed. Jack, you know what's strange? The HOA collects over $13,000 a month, and there's no record of where it goes. See, my wife isn't just smart, she's a forensic accountant. And numbers lie for no one. While I started photographing Linda's harassment, Sarah started following the money. Every spreadsheet, every transaction, and what she found didn't smell like community service. Trips to Florida. Luxury furniture. A $40,000 office renovation listed under HOA headquarters, even though the meetings were held in her backyard. Sarah put together a report, cross-referenced every fake project, and sent it to the state's charity division. Meanwhile, Linda was doubling down. She'd aim her outdoor speakers toward our home during meetings, blaring speeches about non-contributors destroying harmony. It was psychological warfare then. Came the letter printed with an official-looking seal. Starting next month, dues were rising to $150. Failure to comply could lead to property lien or wage garnishment. One retired couple down the road nearly paid it out of fear, but one of those neighbors was George Tanner, a retired federal prosecutor who wasn't easily scared. He compared Linda's letter to state forms and spotted something big. The registration number she used belonged to a defunct landscaping company. That's when the puzzle clicked. Linda hadn't just been overstepping. She'd built a fake nonprofit, siphoning dues into her personal bank account. The next weeks felt like living inside a thriller. Sarah and George gathered evidence quietly, screenshots, receipts, testimony from other residents. Turns out, Linda had been running this scam for 6 years, stealing over $400,000 under the banner of community improvement. She even listed fake board members, one named Rebecca Sunshine, who, according to public records, was a golden retriever she'd registered as a therapy mascot. I remember sitting on my porch at dusk, staring at my father's old flag fluttering from the post he'd carved. Dad always said, "A home's not free unless you can stand up for it." Respect isn't given by position, it's earned by integrity. We were ready to stand. Sarah finalized her 80-page report, spreadsheets, signatures, everything, and mailed copies to the IRS. State Attorney General and FBI white-collar division. 2 weeks later, the silence broke, and justice came rolling down our street in black SUVs. Linda was in her robe, waving her HOA sash like it meant something, screaming about misunderstandings while agents hauled out boxes of files into computers. They found her secret bank statements, fake meeting minutes, even a draft for expanding her program to 2 neighboring subdivisions. Neighbors stood on their lawns, whispering, watching. The same people who'd been too scared to speak now nodded quietly as she was led away. She yelled something about saving property values, but the only thing that dropped that morning was her illusion of control. At her trial, the prosecutor asked one question that silenced the courtroom. "Mrs. Corbett, if you love the community so much, why did you buy a yacht named Neighborhood Pride when Cedar Ridge doesn't even have a lake?" The jury didn't need long. Guilty on every charge: mail fraud, wire fraud, tax evasion. She was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison and ordered to repay nearly $500,000. When they took her away, the neighborhood was quiet again. No more notes, no fake meetings, no fear. Just the sound of the wind through the cedars and the steady hum of life returning to normal. I sat on my porch that night, his hand around my dad's old mug, coffee steaming in the cool air. The flag rustled above me, same way it did the day we moved in. And for the first time in months, I realized what peace actually sounded like. Home isn't just a place, it's a promise. When someone tries to bully you out of your own values, you fight back, not for revenge, but to keep that promise alive. Justice doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it just sits quietly on the porch and watches the sun set over a free neighborhood. If you believe some fights are worth having for family, freedom, and the land beneath your feet, like and subscribe to Neighborloom.